Quick question, family. When African countries purchase fighter jets, do you think that they can just pick whatever they want? Because Nigeria just finalized the largest military aircraft acquisition in West African history. 24 jets, all European made. And the real story isn't what they bought, it's what they were allowed to buy. And remember, if you want more Africa First stories the Western media often ignores, hit subscribe because we don't chase the headlines, we chase the truth behind them. And by the end of this video, you'll understand how approval, not ambition, shapes African military power. So these jets are semi-modern aircraft, not stealth, not fifth generation. And that's not because Nigeria lacks ambition. It's because global defense systems decide who gets which levels of protection. And approval matters more than budget. Once you understand that, this deal makes complete sense. So for now, Africa doesn't have the ability to purchase military power. It buys what clears permission. So Nigeria has secured 24 M346FA fighter attack aircraft from Leonardo, Italy's top aerospace and defense manufacturer. Leonardo isn't a niche exporter. They supply NATO countries, European air forces, long-standing U.S. security partners. This is the largest aircraft acquisition ever recorded in West Africa. Not because of the hype, but because of the fleet size and the operational impact. And importantly, this wasn't announced with a beating chest because it wasn't about flexing power. It was about solving a real problem. As we mentioned previously in our Africa Power Report, Africa's quiet moves usually matter more than the loud ones, right? So it's funny how African restraint gets framed as concerning. So this report was originally published by Business Insider Africa and corroborated by Defense Reporting. The truth is, in this situation, as we see, Nigeria did not buy stealth fighters. It didn't buy deep strike aircraft. They bought light fighter attack jets designed for real world missions local to Nigeria, right? So the insight here is that this choice tells you Nigeria is prioritizing what they could get approved, right? What they could afford and keep operational. So in this sense, Africa doesn't have the opportunity to purchase whatever it wants. It buys what clears permission. And that sentence alone really explains the deal. So here's the clearest way kind of to understand the M346FA, right? These are the Toyota Land Cruisers of military aviation. They're not flashy, not exactly cutting edge, but are definitely reliable, right? They're affordable to operate, easy to maintain, built for tough environments. And the M346 platform is already used globally by countries like Italy, Poland, Singapore, mostly as advanced trainers. So the starting point for fighter pilots and military operations in those countries that we listed, just kind of a basic starter jet. And now in the FA variant as a light combat aircraft, this is a globally trusted platform, not an African-only solution, right? So these jets make sense for Nigeria due to Nigeria's security challenges because they're not theoretical, as most of you know, right? They include insurgency, armed banditry, cross-border movement of fighters, vast terrain requiring constant air coverage, ground forces needing close air support, right? So for that environment, Nigeria needs aircraft that can fly often, respond quickly, support troops consistently, and don't sit grounded due to high cost or politics. So prestigious jets look good in photos. Workhorse jets win real missions, right? So maintenance wins wars long before anyone else ever notices. So here's what most people don't realize. The defense companies themselves do not decide who gets what jets, right? The governments do. So every fighter aircraft sale must clear national export controls. Italy in this case, right? So European Union arms export rules, technology tier restrictions, political approval processes. So African countries aren't shopping freely. They're buying what clears permission. And that's why these jets are sold in tiers. So top tier stealth and deep strike aircraft are restricted to NATO and their closest allies. Mid-tier multi-role fighter jets are limited, tightly controlled. And light combat aircraft are generally approved, monitored, and cleared, right? So the M346FA sits at the highest tier Nigeria could realistically get approved, funded, delivered, and sustained, right? Ownership does not equal full control. So they'll need software, weapons integration, all these upgrades, all monitored, right? That's the system. So let's take a look at, who has stronger jets in Africa, right? So yes, some African countries operate more advanced fighters. Egypt has the Rafales, the F-16s, the MiG-29s. Algeria has the Su-30 heavy fighters. Morocco has advanced F-16 variants. South Africa has Gripens with certain funding constraints. But those air forces sit inside different approval lanes and serve different strategic roles, right? Nigeria is trying to dominate its region, right? It's trying to control its security environment. So these are considered different missions or different needs for aircrafts and a different logic for those controlling the gate, right? So Nigeria didn't buy fantasy, right? They bought what works and what cleared in this situation. Control of airspace, control of response time, and maintenance reality. So in today's world, sovereignty isn't always loud. Sometimes it's merely operational, right? So, mashallah, that's your African Insight for today. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe because I'm Mr. EmpowerTV. We don't chase the headlines, we chase the truth behind them. This is Mr. Empower, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.